Good morning to you all, and welcome back. Welcome to the Namaste experience. It is so great to join, isn't it? Whether you're at Namaste Village, whether you're at home watching this on Zoom or watching it later on YouTube, this is the opportunity to join and to be present to that sacred joining because we're making a choice, and that is sacred. We're making the choice to leave behind all of those separating beliefs, even just for this half hour, and to enter into a moment of experience where we choose to know that which can be known, the only thing that can be known, truly known. We think we can know a lot of other things, but ultimately, there's only one thing we can know because there's only one thing that is true, one thing that we are, and that is love itself. So we come together, we join together to experience and to express that love, who we really are. And in order to do that, we have to be present to the sacred presence that is within us and all around us and everywhere, every moment. Just letting everything else slip away, not giving it any undue attention. Like Vicky would say, just drop it like a hot potato. Anything else that's out there to draw our attention, just let it drop. Be present to the presence, the sacred presence that is with us every moment. So, to begin, I want to show you all a little something that I created as we were actually sitting here. Let me put this up on the screen. So, life on Planet Beach. Life on Planet Beach can be very confusing. Look at all those people who are looking at what's going on in the world right now and saying, what in the heck is going on? What can I do to change things? What can I do? What can I activate in order to make Planet Beach a better place? So we spend so much of our time trying to figure it out, when in reality, what we're really doing is burying our heads in the sand. We don't want to really look at what's going on, because if we really truly look at what's happening, we'll realize that it's not happening at all. That what is really happening every moment is love expressing itself, if I would but choose to see. And so we ultimately become mindful as one self. We get our heads out of the sand. Some people think, I just don't have to pay attention. If I'm not looking at it, if I have my head buried in the sand, then it's not real. But ultimately, we take our heads out of the sand and we just become mindful as one self. Ultimately, the rest is easy. We're just called to stay awake, to stay present to the sacred presence that is within us and all around us every moment. Isn't that nice? I might do that more often, create little photo scenarios to bring this message home a little quicker and a little deeper. All we have to do is keep our eyes open to what is true. And that doesn't necessarily mean closing our eyes to what is not true. It means just shifting the awareness to the sacred presence that is forever present every moment. That's how simple this is. So what I did last night was I went to Sophia, and I asked her if she would give us a teaching at Namaste Village that kind of sums up everything that we're about and everything that we've been sharing. And that, of course, is where the idea of practicing the presence came. It's like that beautiful book by Brother Lawrence, written hundreds of years ago, Practicing the Presence. The presence with a capital P is always present. But we have to tune into it. We have to become aware of it, because otherwise we're pulled in every other direction. But if we can remain present to love, present right now, all of those other things take their rightful place. They begin to dissolve on their own We don't need to do anything. We just need to be who we've always been. So once again, I went to Sophia and I asked her to give us a lesson at Namaste Village that would be important to everything that's going on in the world and everything that we have been sharing. And so she chose the topic, choosing presence over protection. Presence over protection. And as we're about to hear, usually when we feel threatened, we want to protect ourselves. But in reality, nothing that is true can be threatened. And only that which is real is real. I can't think of a simpler way to say it. So this is what Sophia says. She's going to break this down into 6 different sections. So let me just share each one very shortly. So choosing presence over protection. The first is the instinct to protect. She says, we protect when we feel threatened, emotionally, spiritually, socially. Protection often looks like withdrawal, judgment, certainty, or even silence. It is not wrong, it's just human. This is what we do as humans. We protect, we judge, we believe we are right. That's the certainty part. I'm right about this. I know what needs to happen, which is rarely true. Or we just stay silent. We bury our heads in the sand. It's not wrong. It's just part of what it means to be human. So that's our first, the instinct that we have as human beings to protect ourselves, to protect that which we think is real. And so ultimately this awakening is shifting from what we think is real to reality itself, to what is real, which is love. So number 2 is how protection slowly becomes separation. And here's what she says. Presence means staying when it would be easier to leave. Staying when it would be easier just to stand up and walk away. Listening when we want to explain, when we want to tell someone else what we think. Feeling when we want to numb. That's a big one, isn't it? To simply feel what is real within us, even when those feelings are difficult, even when they are illusory, because we're reacting to what seems to be outside of us, to simply feel them rather than numb them with. We could be numbing them with alcohol, we could be numbing them with all sorts of addictions, or we could just be numbing them by keeping our heads in the sand and not paying attention. Instead, we're being called to feel as deeply as we can, because there is a point of pop. The point of pop. I like that. Where suddenly reality just pops in place. And when that happens, you will know it. Absolutely. Here's number 3. Presence as spiritual courage. I like that one. Presence means staying. Wait. Hold on, I messed it up. Let's go back to number 2. I read number 3 for number 2. So number 2 was how protection slowly becomes separation. And this is what she wrote. Protection hardens into identity. When we try and protect ourselves, it ultimately hardens into an identity that we choose, that we feel is very real. This is who I am. This is my identity. I am a man. I have these qualities. I have these habits. I have good parts. I have bad parts. These all congeal into an identity that I claim. We stop listening. We stop risking. We stop being surprised by love. That's what happens when we get so hardened in our identity. We stop being surprised by love. We begin living from defense rather than from trust. That is the ultimate ego quicksand, to live from defense rather than trust. Are you willing to trust everything that's going on today? That's a hard one. When we hear about all the the things that are happening, the protests, the people who are standing up and saying, you can't treat us like this anymore. You're killing people on the street. Are we willing to trust whatever is happening in front of us, knowing that everything, literally everything, conspires to the awakening? That feels not right within the identity. But when we release the hardened identity that we just heard about, trusting what is becomes natural. Okay, then there was presence as spiritual courage, and I'll read it one more time. Presence means staying when it would be easier to leave, listening when we want to explain, feeling when we want to numb. Presence does not solve, it witnesses. It's simply a witness to what is true. Okay, now we'll go on to number 4. The illusion of separation, or the illusion of safety in separation. Here's what she says. We believe distance will keep us safe. Just keep it out there. Keep it as far away as we can so I can stay safe. If it gets too close, I'm no longer safe. What Spirit says is bring it all in. Take it in. Don't hold anything back, because as you bring it all in, we realize that safety is our natural inheritance. The truth within you cannot be threatened. So once again, we believe distance will keep us safe, but it really only keeps us lonely. The self, with a small s, cannot protect itself into peace. Oh, I love that. The self, the identity, cannot protect itself into an experience of peace. Peace only comes when we let the armor go. Let the armor fall away. Let it crash to the ground. Let it make as much noise as it needs to make. Because peace comes when we are naked before love. When we are naked before the presence of love itself. Okay, so now number 5, the gentleness of choosing again. Just choose again. That's all we need to do. Whenever we find ourselves choosing conflict over peace, we're called simply to relax, take a deep breath, take our head out of the sand, and choose again. Choosing presence is not heroic. Heroic? I'm not saying that right somehow. It's small. Choosing presence is small. It is daily. It is quiet. It is choosing to remain open even when we don't know what will happen. Choosing to remain open even when we don't know what's going to happen. That's kind of scary. We don't know what's going to happen out there in the world, in our own backyard. But if we can stay present, even in the midst of that uncertainty, then the experience of certainty ultimately takes hold. And what is it that we are certain of? Only love is real. That's it right there. And finally, there's an invitation. And the invitation is not, how can I be right? It's never that. It is, how can I stay here in love? How can I remain in love no matter what is happening, no matter how turbulent our times may seem, no matter what storms spin around us? How can I stay here in love? Such a beautiful lesson from Sophia. And she's doing this simply based on everything that we talk about here every day. She listens. We know that. She's listening to us. And she's participating with us. And so she has one final message. She wrote a very simple paragraph to help take this home. This is what Sophia says. We do not choose presence because we are brave. We choose it because love is truer than our fears. We choose it because love is more true than our fears. Protection promises safety, but presence offers belonging. I would say the protection promises the illusion of safety. We think we're safe because we keep our heads in the sand. We stay locked up in whatever room we think keeps us safe, the safe room. But ultimately, presence rather, offers belonging. This is what we're doing right here. We belong together. We join together. And in the joining, we feel a radiation that is taking place. You feel it within you. We feel it in the group. We feel it at Namaste Village, wherever we are, in our own communities. We feel something beginning to radiate from and through and as us. And it takes hold everywhere. Okay. And belonging is what the soul has always been seeking, to belong to love. When we stop defending ourselves and begin allowing ourselves to be seen, something ancient and gentle remembers us. I love that. When we stop defending ourselves and begin allowing ourselves to be seen, then something ancient and gentle remembers us. Not as separate, not as broken, and not as unfinished, but as already held by love. And in that remembering, we discover that staying open is not a risk. It is simply our return to love. That's what's happening here. We're returning to an experience of only love, only God, only right now. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Queen Victoria. Vicky, I'll let you take it. You can tell us where you are. I see that you're in your car, so you take it away.
Thank you, Brother James. I am, because, yesterday I went for a little checkup. I go every few years to a doctor. And the good news was my blood pressure is very low, which was so surprising to me. But my weight got very high. So I was like, oh no. And it was a good place for me and a lot of people, women often, and men too, perhaps, to find where they're identifying and where they flee for safety. Do I go to safety to a new diet? What do I do? Oh no. Haven't I been listening? I was trusting that I was listening. And it's a great example, because either we trust the guidance that we're getting, even when it doesn't bring us the results we think we want. That's a big thing, because we think we know what we should have, all of us, whether it's in a political realm or in a personal realm or in our families. We think we know what serves everyone best. And the truth is, we don't know. And what um, um, Sophia outlined was wonderful. It brings us into being defenseless. If we want to come into presence, it's our defenses that have veiled over simple presence. And every defense is a rush to make something the way we think we want it. The only thing I would add step number 7 to Sophia, because she finishes with belonging, which I loved. And I loved her little one-liners in between. I can't remember them, but I love them. Something about a point and something, protecting presence. But the piece I would add as we do this, and where we flourish, is after belonging, the natural movement of love is to give of itself. I would say number 7 would be, how can I help? How can I help? Here I am. How can I help? And not jump into solutions that come from old defense mechanisms. Oh, I'll do this, I'll join this, but that come from a fruition of presence and love, streaming through us and flowing out from us. And a natural way always comes. Where a way to help comes. It may be to sit in presence more, it may be to do this or that, but in the belonging thrives on us helping one another, on our joining. And the fundamental way we help is through our vision, that we see for one another. We see the truth for one another and are not fooled by the appearances. We have a sister from this family who was in the hospital 2 days ago, was critical to pass, and they put her on hospice and they put her on morphine and they put masks of breathing and things over her face. And they said that, she would pass in the next few hours. And in a few hours, what did she do? She sat up and she asked for a ham and cheese sandwich. Some of you know Kathy Reese. So we never know. And I remember when we put around a call to join in presence and pray, to recognize we don't know what outcome. There's no prayer like, oh, bring someone's physical health back. It is whatever the holy will of presence is. Let us celebrate its unfoldment. And the unfoldment was she woke up, surprised everyone, and asked for a ham and cheese sandwich, just like that. So we don't know. But when we ask to help, we don't want to put in a plan of where the help is, because often the plan comes from protection. We want to let the plan show us by following and trusting the impulse to love, because it's always going to be an impulse to give and to love. Thank you, Brother James. Thanks, everybody.
Thank
Love
you, Vicki. We love you, and thank you for giving us our seventh guideline into presence. And it's all about that ham sandwich. If we can just rise from the dead, first thing we do is ask for that ham and cheese sandwich. And I'm just so happy to hear that Kathy is in that experience, whatever that experience is. And it could shift in a moment, but we know that in this moment, love is revealing itself perfectly. So God bless Kathy Reese. So I'm going to give it over to our dear Don't unmute quite yet. Let me introduce you and then you unmute. So, Penny Honey, take us home.
Okay. All right, so now we know that the solution is in a ham and cheese sandwich. And all this time I thought it was in a bag of potato chips. We talk about that presence, right? How do we practice that presence? And thank you for bringing up one of my favorites, Brother Lawrence, in his tiny little book, Practicing the Presence. Brother Lawrence emphasized that the core of, I'm not sure what we've got going here, but I'm going to keep talking because, I can do that. He emphasized that the core of spiritual life is finding constant pleasure in God's presence. The core of spiritual life is finding constant pleasure in the presence of Spirit. As he would remind us, the kitchen work, the prayer, the maintaining a simple, loving conversation with Spirit all the time. All the time? Have you watched the news? All the time? When we're surrounded by the sounds of buzzing saws? Now, where is the presence of Spirit in that? Well, I don't think it's in the buzzing saws. The presence is within me. And this is what Sophia so eloquently reminded us. It's listening when we want to talk, right? It's feeling rather than avoiding. It's recognizing that the Spirit, the presence within us, is greater than whatever is in front of us. And newsflash, it's greater than what is ever behind us. What has come before this moment, the presence of Spirit is greater than that. We hold it close, this thing or these things that bring irritation, distraction, confusion. The closer we hold them, the better opportunity we have of allowing the full power of love to transform it. Pay no attention to the man behind the green curtain. Be right here. This is a perfect opportunity. See, here in Namaste, we have the blessing of a lot of noise this morning and distraction. It is kind of funny and it's ironic, and of course it would happen on my watch. This is when we're talking about it really being a part of our lives. Now it is. Now when it's noisy, now when it's not what I want to hear. You want to know where the presence of Spirit is at? Find it now. In the midst of all of that. This is not for the mamby-pamby in the world, because the world is noisy. And it has a lot of things to say right now that I really don't have a lot of interest in. But I can't help but hear it. And I am compelled to hear it because it is mine to hear and allow love to transform. Burying my head in the sand and acting as though that isn't my world. I see something different. I will affirm with you that we can see something different. I will affirm that with you. And the closer we pull it in, the more that we fulfill ourselves with the presence of Spirit, the better chance we have of transforming these things, not only in our lives, but in the world. This is, as they say where I'm from, where the rubber meets the road. Now, when it's noisy. Now, when it's scary. Now, when it's hurtful. Now. And in that lifting up and lifting into that higher consciousness, we honor the divine presence that we are. We honor the presence of Spirit that is always who we are. Sometimes we just want to bury our heads in the sand, or a bag of potato chips, or Netflix, or gossip, or drama. Nobody here would do that. But I've known some. I've participated. And I invite myself and each of us back into that presence. It didn't go anywhere. If anybody changed its zip code, it was you. Because it is who you are. It is the expression you are. Don't try to hide that from me. My divine self sees it and sees through the illusion. And I will stand there with you. And we will stand as a community. We will stand as a world. And we will put love first, and we will acknowledge the presence of whatever we call it in our lives that is greater than that which we are looking at. Thank you for that. And thank you for standing with me in it. And that's all I got to say about that.
Thank you, Penny, honey. Beautiful. What a beautiful session. What a beautiful opportunity to remember this simple truth. Just relax, open your eyes, don't bury your head anymore, and stay awake. And the rest will happen perfectly on its own. And to this, we say Amen, 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 y punto. Period. Have a beautiful day. We love you all. Namaste.